Welcome back. I'm Jim, and I have another Forgedale story for you. This one's called "The Dead Guy That Was Stalking Colleen." Uh, yeah, this one got silly, and the reason I had to explain what Colleen and I do now is because the end of this story comes 4 years later. Uh, how we talk to our relatives in our own homes. Uh, but at this point, it's still 2011, and we're at Forgedale. Uh, I think our Nancy's with us as well. This is about 6 months in, and we set up the recorders like we always do in the kitchen. We walk around with one, and at one point, we heard a woman ask her neighbor, "Has Lewis Clay been interested in Colleen?" It was a very curious comment. We didn't know we never heard of a Lewis Clay, but, and Nancy's there. They're both good looking women. Why is Lewis attaching himself to Colleen? Don't know. So, of course, we don't hear anything in real time. We heard the comment later that week when we were checking the recorders. So the next week we go back, and I'm teasing in the kitchen. Of course, I'm just trying to get a rise out of these people. And I offer Colleen to Lewis for $20. A guy in the kitchen offers $30. Made us all laugh. It was fun. The following week, I'm pretty sure Nancy was still with us. I'm on the porch and I say, again, just trying to provoke, those invisible people are scared of us. I say out loud. In the kitchen, a man asks, "Lewis Clay?" As if it was impossible for Lewis Clay to be scared. All right, so Lewis Clay's name has been bouncing around. Our friend Nancy has a friend who does some research and finds out that a Lewis Clay had been married in our area around 1905. So he's long been dead. And as it turns out, he was the boss of the mill at Forgedale. Big mill across on the stream. And turns out he was the boss of the mill. And that's why, of course, he has no fear of anybody. He's the guy. He's the man. And to prove that, at one point, another week, Colleen stands on the porch outside the kitchen there and just says to the ethers, "If I had a friend who needed a job here at the mill, who should they talk to?" The answer was Mr. Lewis Clay. Bada bing. No doubt, we got our man. And we kind of let it go at that for a while. And as it turns out, in around 2015, now we have given up doing all the strange houses and buildings that we did, and we're just working with our own relatives in our own homes. And because really all we want is answers about the afterlife. Colleen asks, in 2015, she asked him just out of the blue, asks about Lewis Clay. And a woman responds to her in her house, so it's probably a relative. "He really liked you," the woman said. Colleen hears this. I hear, we all listen to this stuff together. And the following week, Colleen asks, "Does Lewis want something from me?" And a woman, I don't know if it was the same woman, but she replied, "Yes, ma'am." Kind of freaked Colleen out a little bit. So we don't talk about Louis Clay anymore. Is he still in her house? I don't know. Who knows, you know? But here's an example of just some random dead guy attaching himself to a human and following around. It's more common than what we think. We used to, way back in the day, around Forgedale time, and a little before even, we used to have meters like they had on TV. I never put a lot of stock in that stuff, but we would check the car, but you can't do it when it's running. But when the car's off, we would check the car when we were leaving the house, all good. But then we would check the car getting back in after doing a study in some rando house, and all the meters would go off. Now, in this day and age, were the meters going off because they were going in, or maybe an iPhone just got a message? I don't put a lot of stock in it, because we know that everywhere we go, we have a group of relatives, dead, invisible relatives around us. They go everywhere we go. They live wherever we live. You're surrounded by your relatives. You're surrounded by your loved ones. And they're there to help. So my advice to you, stay away from old dead guys. And if you need help, just say it out loud. And you got people right there that are in a position to do that. That's what I got for you today. Do me a favor and subscribe. It would help me. If you want to read about this stuff in detail, go to our blog, discussionsintheafterlife.com. Put dashes in between the letter, or in between the words. And you can read this blow by blow starting in 2019. Take care. Talk soon.